Would you love to go back in time and enjoy a 1928 lunch with wheat gems like these and many other surprises? Join us for the entire menu of a 1928 lunch. Let's go and check out the recipe. Take a quick peek at our luncheon. It looks so delicious. We have tuna salad, wheat muffins, freshly made French fries, fruit, and the floating island custard. Yum. Here is a quick sneak peek at our beautifully set table for the 1928 luncheon. How lovely. All right, the first part of our 1928 lunch is a tuna salad. So this is based off of the fish salad recipe, and it's super simple. I am adding a couple of my own seasonings just because they don't have a lot of seasonings in some of these recipes. So this is super easy, and I want to do this first so we can get this in the fridge and get the flavors kind of melding. So I have about 2.5 cans more or less of tuna. I drained out the water and I weighed it so I could figure out how much 1 pound was. But if you have any leftover fish, you can kind of flake it up and use it instead. Or canned salmon or any of that type of thing would work great here. We're gonna add 1 cup of chopped celery. That's about 3 stalks of celery chopped up. So we have that. And then we have 2 tablespoons of olive oil. It just says oil, so whatever you prefer there. And then we have a tablespoon of vinegar. I'm putting white wine vinegar because I want it to be a little more interesting. So we can stir that a little bit here. And then I am adding on my own accord some dried dill, 1 teaspoon. I love dill in any kind of fish thing. And then we have some fresh ground pepper, about 1/2 to 3/4 teaspoon of that. The tuna, I checked on the can, it already has quite a bit of salt in the tuna. So I'm gonna leave the salt out. At the table, we can have some salt if one of us prefers, but I'm just gonna leave it out just to make it not quite so salty. So that is a super fast recipe for lunch. And I forgot to buy some lettuce to present it on top, but I don't think the guys will mind that. So here's our tuna salad. I'm gonna get this in the fridge while I'm making the rest of the lunch to get this nice and chilled and get the flavors incorporated. So now we're going to make the graham muffins or the whole wheat muffins as part of our lunch from 1928. We have 2 cups of whole wheat flour here. I know that sometimes you can order graham flour is a much coarser grind, but that is something that I did not do, and I was hoping to find it locally, but I could not. So whole wheat is totally fine here. We're gonna sift together the dry ingredients of this recipe. So you have 2 cups of either graham flour or whole wheat flour, 2 tablespoons of sugar, excuse me, and then we have 3/4 teaspoon of baking soda, a teaspoon of baking powder, and then we have a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I have kosher salt here. So let me know in the comments down below what types of breads or muffins you like to have with lunches or dinners. I absolutely love all kinds of breads. I used to have more of a sweet tooth, but now I have a savory tooth. So this one is nice because it's not super sweet. There's not that much sugar in it. So after we sift this, we are going to add some buttermilk gradually. So that is 1.5 cups. I'm actually going to take the whisk out of there and use a wooden spoon. So let's add this. And then we're going to add a well-beaten egg, just 1 egg. It's hard to pour and stir at the same time. But, okay, we got that in there. All right, so let's add the beaten egg here. And then either a 1/2 tablespoon of shortening or melted butter. Both need to be, either one needs to be melted, but there we go. On this video, I'm also going to do a dish count, so see how many dishes we use while preparing this meal. And also kind of see ballpark how long it takes to make this, because I thought, gosh, would somebody make this every day? Because there's a lot of components to this meal. So I will be showing you all of that. All right, that's looking good. All right, so basically all we have to do is make sure this is all incorporated, and then we're gonna get this into our muffin tin. I forgot to bring my muffin tin home from work still, so we have the little mini loaves. So it's going to be slightly different, but we want to get these about 3 3/4 cup full. So maybe I'll just do 1 big scoop per little loaf. That should be about right. Everybody will have a tiny little almost muffin loaf of bread instead of a muffin, which is kind of fun. It reminds me in college in the cafeteria, they had these delicious whole wheat loaves that I think they actually made at the cafeteria, and they were really delicious and very cheap, which was great. Let me know about any of college foods that you enjoyed that were budget friendly. All right, so I'm just gonna distribute the last little bits of batter or dough onto each little loaf here so that it's even. And I am gonna use my hands to sort of smooth these out a little bit. I have clean hands, so we're just gonna mess with this a tiny bit to get it into the tin. So I'm betting these gonna look really cute. So we have our oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and we wanna bake these for about 20 to 25 minutes. I will definitely check them at 20 minutes and see if they are done. So yes, these are all ready to go. We'll get them in the oven and we'll come back when they're out. Oh, the wheat muffins are almost done. They're looking so golden brown. So the wheat muffins, or the graham gems, are now freshly out of the oven. Don't they look yummy? They're very rustic and delicious. They smell really buttery. So let's let these cool down. I think before we do our tasting, I might heat them back up again for our meal. But let's move on to our next recipe in this lunch. So I wanted to take a break and show you that we've got about 28 dishes or items here in the sink. So before I move on to the next part of the recipe, I'm going to have to wash some of these. So this is only for 2 recipes. So now we're moving on to the third part of our 1928 lunch menu, which is French fried potatoes. I'm just going to do 1 potato for now. And then before we eat, before we do the family tasting, I'm gonna make some fresh ones because French fries are best nice and hot and fresh. So what I did was I took a large russet potato, kind of like this one here. I'll be cutting this one up later. But I just peeled it, cut it in half with the chef knife here. Now it says to cut it in 8s. So I'll do the best we can. We'll try to make the best French fry shapes we can. They're gonna be a little more rustic and not perfect, but as I cut them, I'm gonna put them in this water, and then it says to dry them off with towels. So I'm gonna put them in here and dry them off as best I can, and then we'll heat up our oil and fry some. So let's do a little bit of cutting. How many of you love French fries? I'm sure most people do, but it's not something we make at home hardly ever. But it's probably better for you to just eat them at home because it takes a lot more work and you're probably not apt to eat as many. So maybe that's a good solution there. But they are delicious. So let's cut. I think that looks pretty nice. Again, they're gonna be rustic shape. So we'll get quite a few out of this. And I'm gonna try avocado oil. It says to just fry them in fat, and I'm sure that probably would have been lard. I do have some lard here at home, but probably not enough to fry all of these, so we will give this a shot. All right, I will be back when our oil is ready and we're ready to fry. So we're heating up the oil right now, but I wanted to show you the towel dried potatoes. You can also use paper towels. I try to use as many cloth towels as I can. That's what they would have had back then anyway. So they're not like crazy dry, but I tried to get them as dry as I could. So we'll move on to the frying once our oil is at about 395 degrees Fahrenheit. I think the oil is ready. We're gonna do a test fry. Just try one French fry in there. It's looking like the temperature is perfect for it. Ooh, that's looking nice. Yeah, I want to stay really safe with these tongs here. Don't remember the last time, well, I made donuts recently, but not French fries. Those are a higher temperature, so we want to make sure, of course, that it gets golden brown and nice and crispy. So that'll be interesting to see. That's looking good. I think we want at least quite a bit of time on this to make sure. And we gotta always be checking our temperature. It's getting fairly high, so you might want to turn it down a little bit. But let's, not sure if that's done yet. This will be an experiment. I might do this one and then do a few more off camera, and we'll make sure that they get done in the middle. This one looks beautiful, doesn't it? So yeah, I am very new to this, so we're gonna see how this works. So off camera for a couple minutes, I'm gonna try frying a few more, and we'll be back in a moment. I wanted to show you a few more of the French fries that I'm frying. They are looking good, yum. So here's a little close-up of these beautiful French fried potatoes. As the recipe says, I just sprinkled them with a little kosher salt. I just put them on a tray with a rack so that they drip down a little bit. But they look fabulous. So now we are going to make our floating Islands custard. That is the last part of this delicious lunch. We're making a bit of dessert before we set the table and get everything ready and look at the book. So I have in a double boiler here, on top I have 2 cups of whole milk. On the bottom is some water that is heating up. So I'm supposed to scald this milk, which means just getting it heated to the hot to the touch, but not boiling. And over here I have I have 1 whole egg and 2 egg yolks. So I am going to be beating those together with 4 tablespoons of sugar and 1/8 teaspoon salt. And we also have vanilla here that we'll add at the end for flavor. And so the first part of this is just making a slightly richer, soft custard. So this is not going to be a molded or set custard that we do in the oven, rather one that we just make on the stove, and then we'll make the pretty meringues to go on top. The floating island part. So far this luncheon has been really surprising to me and uses a lot of skills, which I think is awesome. I think the time taken to make this is significant. Definitely not an everyday sort of thing. Maybe this is more for guests. I'm not sure if this is something you would have just had with your family, but it's always wonderful to spend some time cooking and doing something special. So let me know in the comments down below if you ever take a lot of time to make a lunch or dinner, or if you'd rather do some easier, quicker things. All right, so I'm gonna let this heat up a little bit and we'll go to the next step. So now that the milk is heated up, we're going to stir that into the egg mixture, kind of temper that mixture, and you can see the water is boiling there on the bottom. So we'll get that nice and mixed up together, and then we're gonna get it back into the pot. And we are going to be stirring this constantly until it gets a little bit thicker and coats the wooden spoon a bit. So sorry for the camera angle. I will be back in just a moment. You can see a little bit easier now how I'm using the whisk to stir this constantly, and then I'm going to use the spoon to sort of test to see how thick it gets. So we'll be back in a moment. While we are letting our soft custard cool a bit, we are going to make the floating island part. So we have 2 egg whites here. We have, oops, I got another beater stuck in there. This is my rotary beater. And we have about, I think it was 4 tablespoons of sugar. All the recipes and hints and things will be down below in the description. And so we are gonna attempt to make some meringues, soft meringues that we can put on top of our soft custard. I thought I'd put this in a pretty bowl. And I also have some maraschino cherries here that we're gonna maybe cut up and put on top. So let's give this a go. I'm not gonna do this all on camera because this is gonna take a while with this old-fashioned beater. So bear with me, but I will be back in a couple of moments, probably more than a couple moments after beating this, and I'll show you what the meringue looks like. This will give us plenty of cooling time for the meringue, or I'm sorry, for the custard. I'll be back. I wanted to show you that I'm part way through and my arms really hurt. This is a great way to get an arm workout outside of the gym, right here in your own kitchen. So you can see they're starting to thicken up. but it's gonna be a bit, so I'll be back. Okay, after way more than 10 minutes of beating this and my finger on this side really hurting, I think we finally have island-worthy meringue. So I probably recommend using an electric mixer if you can, but I want it to be authentic. So here we go. So I did cool this down a tiny bit in the freezer. And we're gonna put the custard in this pretty bowl here. So I thought I'd do one big bowl instead of individual servings, and then we can serve it at the table later on for our little luncheon treat. So that looks really pretty. It smells so delicious of vanilla. So what we're supposed to do is kind of drop small amounts of this meringue around the floating islands. It's so cute, really. I've never made this. But this is quite fancy for a weekday luncheon. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. But it certainly is really fun. So I highly recommend trying this. Once you get the hang of it, it's not a ton of work, as long as you maybe use the electric mixer and cheat a bit. No shame in that by any means. But yeah, this is really cute. Okay, and then it recommends putting maraschino cherries on each little island. I'm not sure how many of these I have, but whoops. We'll try to decorate as best we can. And then we're supposed to chill this until serving time. So luckily, we're gonna have this lunch at dinner time, but I've got plenty of time for chilling. And there we go. Let me know what you think about this recipe in the comments down below. And if you plan on making this lively luncheon, as I like to say, that is super cute and really fun. Look at those little islands. Alrighty, so next we're gonna go to table setting and taking a look at the 1928 book. See you in a bit. So now it's time to set our table, 1928 style. So we have a tablecloth here. I'm gonna be setting places on this end of the table so you can see a little bit better. And I'm probably gonna change the camera a little bit here and there so you can see a little bit more of the table setting. Let me know in the comments down below if you like to use tablecloths, placemats, TV trays, whatever you usually do. I usually just use tablecloths when we have people over, because of course they require ironing and a little more work. And so usually we use placemats on a daily basis, but we do sit at the dining table every evening for dinner, so it is a nice thing to sit at the table. Okay, so I have the tablecloth here. I have the linen napkins, and just for fun, I'm gonna use these beautiful doilies that my great-grandma made for the cups. So I'm going to be setting 3 places here, over there, and then the doily for the cups. And I took a few notes out of the book as far as table setting. So we're gonna use my grandma's plates. These are floral ones. Oh, there's a little spot on this. I will clean that off. But these are Haviland, made in the USA. They're beautiful spring patterns, so we're going to use this for our luncheon that we're trying out today. I like to have most of the flowers here at the top. So we have those 3 place settings done almost. I'm gonna use the bread plates. These can either be used for bread or salad, just because we're gonna have those wheat muffins. And then these are, so the menu calls for grapefruit. My son isn't a big fan, so I'm just gonna give him blueberries or some other thing in this fruit bowl. So we'll start off our luncheon with the fruit course. And then I'm going to use these butter spreaders here. I'm gonna just set them on the bread plates because that's the way it shows in the photos there. And this is interesting. So I'm going to show you in another angle in a moment, but the forks, I was used to putting them on top of the napkin, but in a lot of the photos here, it has it outside of the napkin. So we'll try that. Maybe it's just easier to put the napkin on your lap. And then we'll have the knives. I don't know if we'll really need those because it's a tuna salad, but we'll put them anyway. And then the spoons. These are mostly just going to be for the custard, the dessert. So it talked about water tumblers, and these tumblers are about the size of that. It didn't specify a drink for this meal, so I just thought water. We'll put that on the doilies. And I also got a nice water pitcher. Why not? So we're not really gonna have much of a centerpiece here since it's not a formal affair. But I will put out the serving piece for the custard. I'll put out a couple more serving pieces once I get the food on the table, but I'm going to give you another view here in just a moment so we can see how the table is set. So I'm just going to do a quick walk around to show you how the table is set here, and then we will start to get some of the food out once it's time for the meal. But you can see how pretty it is, and it will be a delicious meal. Let's take a little peek into this 1928 book, the Delineator Cookbook from the Delineator Home Institute. So this book is the one where I found the menu for this luncheon, and also the table setting and service. So there's all kinds of menus here. I found this one that we're gonna make today: grapefruit, tuna fish salad, French fried potatoes, graham gems, sorry for covering that up, floating island custard. So that is what we are making, what our luncheon is. And you can see they have a few photos in the book, all black and white, but the graham muffins are here. It's funny they say graham gems in the menu, but anyway. And then it talks about French fried potatoes, how to make those. The fish salad, there's a variation of the tuna fish salad there. And then I love all the old photos there. And then, oops, that was another one. And then we have the floating island here, which uses the base recipe of the plain soft custard. So a lot of fun things. What I will say is this took probably all told, with the table setting and everything, probably about 3 hours to make this luncheon with cleaning up and everything. I still have more cleaning up to do. So I would love to know if you would make a 3-hour luncheon just for a weekday. It was quite the eye-opener, but a lot of wonderful work in the kitchen. So let me know in the comments down below what you think. All right, my husband and son are here to try this 1928 luncheon.
Whoa.
So we have tuna salad.
Is this like classic tuna salad?
Yes, there's no mayo in it though.
Oh, so that's different.
Yeah, you can put it on top if you want. I didn't put it on the table.
So if there's no mayo, what's in it?
Vinegar, olive oil. I put some dill because I wanted a little bit of, and some pepper, but, and some celery.
And celery, okay.
And then some wheat gems, or just wheat muffins.
Oh, looks good.
Freshly made French fries.
Wait, this is a...
Thank you, Adam.
This was a lunch.
Lunch,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm all for French fries.
Thanks, Adam. Those look
Yeah.
great. And then we have floating island custard. It's kind of a soft custard dessert.
That looks amazing.
Thank you. It took me more than 10 minutes to whip up those eggs, and I just about killed my hands, but
Okay, well, should we try?
let's go.
Why a grapefruit for lunch?
Well, that was part of the menu. I don't know why.
A lunch grapefruit?
Yes.
What's weird about that?
I'm used to grapefruits being a breakfast or brunch food.
Yeah, usually.
You're too narrow-minded.
Truly. What is how do I eat the tuna salad?
I think you put it in your mouth.
I think just with a fork.
Okay.
It was supposed to be on a lettuce leaf, and then you put mayonnaise on it, but I didn't have any lettuce leaves.
Oh,
so
okay.
beg your pardon on that.
That's all right, I can imagine. But
This, what did you say it was called?
French fry?
Excellent.
Thank you.
I haven't heard of it before.
I love that you're eating it with a knife and fork.
okay, well, I'm going into the tuna salad.
All right.
I'm gonna try
Try
some
some
too.
tuna salad.
You bet.
I'm going to try a fry, although full disclosure, I've tried a couple just to make sure they were done in the middle. So, I gotta try the tuna salad.
Tuna salad is really good.
You like it?
Oh yeah. Very
Doesn't
fishy.
need any seasoning. I didn't add extra salt to
It's
it.
pretty good
but-
now the way it is.
Okay.
I'm gonna try a gem.
What do you think?
To me, this tastes like tuna fish.
Yeah. Yeah, I think because there's no creamy stuff.
I like it, but
Of course, you're a fish fan, right? You'd probably eat tuna fish right out of the
I'm
can.
a fish freak.
Fish freak for sure. All right, what do we got here?
Yeah.
Delightful.
Let's try a gem.
Good bread.
Thank you.
This is called
So
a
yeah,
gem?
it's nice and fluffy. Muffin. I think a lot of times they said gems instead of muffins.
G-E-M?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So yeah, let's see.
We'll try a bit of this thing.
Not bad.
Quite nice, yeah.
You're not supposed
Actually-
to have dessert in the middle of dinner, but
I think this would probably go nicely with the tuna salad.
Yeah, we gotta try it all, so.
yeah, for content.
Yes, exactly, that's. But yeah, it's nice, it's just a savory muffin, not
Very
too
nice.
sweet, yeah. You wanna try some?
Yeah, please.
Floating island. I'll put it a little bit over here.
Yes, not too close to the tuna salad.
Yes.
Mine already mixed together.
Yeah.
What is your report?
Delicious.
Awesome.
This whole lunch is Adam approved.
Fantastic, I'm glad.
Give me a couple fries.
Oh yeah, you gotta try the fries.
Here you go.
I gotta try this floating island.
Thank you.
Looks yummy.
Yeah, the custard is great. I mean, it's custard. What do you expect? Still.
Oh. I really like the fluffy meringue on top of the custard because it makes it really light.
Yeah.
And I forgot I'm eating it with a fork, but that's okay.
Ooh. That's delicious. And you're right, the meringue is nice. It's not like dry. It's not like a dry meringue that you put in the oven. It's actually like almost like a souffle.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Have you had one of the fries yet?
Yes, the fries are good. I mean, no surprise there.
Wow, I would totally make this whole lunch again.
Yeah, this is amazing stuff.
It's kind of company worthy, I think.
I think I need something for my tuna salad, though.
Yes.
Not me.
You can be the mayo over the top person.
Oh, so that's how you're supposed to serve it, with mayo on top?
Yes.
Yep, I think that'd be perfect. Actually, you know what I would probably do?
Yes.
Is I would put like mustard on top of it.
Oh yeah, that
or
would
like
be good.
sriracha mayo or something.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, a
That
creamy,
probably needs like a little bit of a kick. It has good flavor,
Yeah.
but
for a creamy component for this would really be nice for me.
yes.
Not in my book.
But it tastes good, and I actually like the celery. It's kind of crunchy, but not.
Oh, nice.
It's small pieces, so it's not fibrous-y.
Yeah, not overly.
And these are very nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Big win. Thanks, guys.
My pleasure.
See you later.